graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Previously on Welcome to Show.
She was all cauterized full.
His tear ducts are seared.
Yeah.
Shit was backing up, probably hurting his brain because he was crying so hard.
It's called a nice blackened. Okay, it's blackened, a nice char.
A nice sear. Like when you get blackened chicken, you get blackened Neo eyes.
Blackened Neo eyes.
Thank you. Everyone looks more awesome with sunglasses.
Even Snatch looked more awesome when she had sunglasses on.
Snatch.
We'll switch. She called her.
Oh, like I envision an actual Snatch wearing sunglasses.
I was here. Used to look good.
And chew bubble gum.
And he's all out looking good. Monica Bellucci.
That shit was unbelievable.
That was beautiful.
She was like over 40 at the time they shot that
sexy,
shit.
Doesn't matter. Age ain't nothing but a number.
That's what we're saying. She's sexy.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
that's why I have a boner right now.
It doesn't mean her pussy doesn't look like a wizard's sleeve, though.
Well, I mean, that's because she's Italian.
Hey, you know what?
She's been around.
You know what you call that? A face hugger. Just wrap it all around your face.
Oh God.
And then when they have the sex, it's
when they have
there's
the
more,
sex.
when there's more of a focus on the insertion and the
so you can hear that little.
I think we got off topic here, please.
all of them.
Or do you think?
Deviants. Welcome to show. I am the Clitoris, and I am here with
La Gooch
and a la divos la que.
and we are El Soso Deviants.
Hey. That
And
was Spanish and Japanese.
Japanese and French in there.
Oh, that's not your real Japanese voice, though.
No. So racist. I was listening back to some of the zombie shit that we did. Oh, she got the bigger breast. So racist. I'm
Anyways,
so racist.
continue on.
Who are here today to conclude our talk about El Matrico? Is that how you say it?
I have no fucking clue.
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
And so, I wanted to start off this final episode talking about the influence of the Matrix on the film industry, and we've talked about this a little bit before. But when the Matrix basically revolutionized this idea of bullet time,
Yeah.
and I don't know if anyone out there has watched The Matrix Revisited, but they go into a lot of depth of what it is, and it was basically a setup where they had a camera that were basically a bunch of cameras that like were placed in like intermittent locations that were wrapped around a location where they did perform some action. And because the cameras had recorded all the angles, they could sort of stop the action and whip the camera around the person and see, and it would look seamless, like you were actually like floating around it as it was frozen in time.
The camera setup is fucking crazy. Because it's like it's wrapping 360 around this person, but every step it's like higher and higher and higher and higher because just the way they could fit the physical equipment, and it pulled off such a fantastic effect.
But this wasn't the first film that came out with it. It was Wing Commander, by the way. It's just that Wing Commander was so much garbage that people don't remember it. Wing Commander.
Did Wing Commander come out after?
No, it came out like 3 or 4 months before this movie.
Did it?
It really did. It was the first one.
And that's the scene where like the paladin's like getting like blasted into space, and he stops, and then
they're like being like it's like what's his face, Matthew Lillard and the other
Freddie Prinze.
Jerry Prince are like stuck in midair, and they're like the shit's flying around him and shit. And by the way, that's hard. That's a movie. That's a hard movie to watch.
I want to put it on our movie commentaries because I like that movie.
Dude, I like that movie too. Have you seen it recently?
I have not.
Well, then that's a good one to watch because it's fucking garbage.
What we need to do is we need to find out when
was it released? Was it first? It was.
It was released 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
3 weeks before.
So technically it was the first one.
But
so somebody on set was like, hey.
You got to get it out of there.
I venture to say, and I can look this up, Matrix considering how the production level probably was produced before Wing Commander.
It probably was produced before, and the quality of the effect is so much better. But technically, Wing Commander was released first, and they were the first one.
And Wing Commander had a great set of actors too.
Yeah,
Matthew Lillard, Freddie Prinze, the hot chick.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny boy.
The French guy from The Patriot.
Yeah,
He's in there.
I'm like literally looking at who the starring cast of Wing Commander, and I don't know who this woman's name is. It's like an unfamiliar name.
I know her.
I can't even pick it out.
I know her face. I've seen her
Is
in a
she
couple
Asian?
movies. No, she's like French or European
Saffron
or something.
Burrows.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the fuck she. Oh, I know who she is. Oh, I definitely know who she is.
Yeah.
She was
gorgeous.
Eric Bana's wife.
Yeah, that's
in the
what
fucking
I was,
Troy.
In Troy, that's
Yeah.
who that was.
Yeah.
She's fucking sexy.
That's what I just said.
She has a chin cleft though.
But like
So does Stephanie McMahon, and it doesn't matter.
Hey, but
It does to me.
She's sexy though, dude. Anyway,
I guess that'll be going on the recap.
But I mean, what we're trying to get at is that no one remembers Wing Commander. Everyone remembers the Matrix for this reason. One of the reasons.
And obviously, we mentioned like a lot of the thematic content was like groundbreaking for Hollywood films.
Yes.
Like it's not like anything new. Like using like the allegory of the cave, the simulacra and simulation, which is actually like a book that Neo holds when he's in his apartment. Actually, like the book that they open up.
And he's got like the hidden, like the
that's
secret
the name of the book,
files.
right?
Okay.
And people have said like Alice in Wonderland is like also another thematic element.
Follow a fucking white rabbit down a goddamn hole in her asshole.
And goodness gracious,
Sorry,
It's true.
I don't know why I got mad all of a sudden.
got angry at that.
I'm
at
fucking,
that anus.
I'm fucking pumped up. We've been doing this for 4 hours. I'm ready to
like
go.
Hong Kong action cinema, Japanese manga, animation, martial arts films, like all these were like influences on like this like amalgamation that appeared in the Matrix. And it's funny because a lot of movies sort of use that. Obviously a lot of movies use the bullet time, like including like the parodies and shit like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I mean also like the idea of the way that they were fighting and like the type of stuff that they were doing. You saw other types of movies. You can see the influence, you know what I mean? Like movies that were created shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Even like the Bourne movies and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Where it's like nothing's like crazy that's happening in the Matrix, but like this idea of like the way it's shot, the way the movements are and stuff like I think cinema, like especially action movies, like went to sort of a different realm where like it was this like this mix of we're going to use like these traditionally martial arts moves, but make them distinctly American, right?
Okay.
Like so you can have like a military a military guy do moves that are very similar to what you see in these movies.
Because prior to this, like you had Arnold, you had Sly, you had other than Van Damme, which actually used martial arts moves.
Yeah, but you're just punching people.
Yeah, they were just punching people using guns and shit like that. And you had, like I said, you had Arnold, you had Sly, and you had Bruce Willis, right? And they were the
other ones were like Jet Li, those type of guys that just straight Jackie Chan.
And Mel Gibson did use some of his like kung fu stuff in the Lethal Weapons, but other than that,
Mel Gibson kung fu.
He's the karate guy because he's the Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, but Jet Li fucked him up.
Well, I understand that, but like I'm talking about like prior to this. You know, you had the archetype of like the American guy that didn't need to do anything other than use guns and blow motherfuckers away. Here comes Neo, which he did do that, mind you. He did use guns and blow motherfuckers away, but I mean, together with his martial arts and his fighting skills and like that, and after that, you saw a lot more of that in the films. I think that's what you're getting at, right?
Yeah.
Pop quiz. What was the first use of bullet time in The Matrix?
Was it the scene where he was getting shot at on the top of the building?
No, I think it was when
he was first dodging the bullets.
No, I think it's when isn't it when
it's when Trinity fucking
Trinity's like
jumps up.
Like she's like running away and she like
at the very beginning when she's on the computer and then she's like, "Operator, is there an exit? There's agents. Damn it!"
Yeah.
And then like the fucking cops break in. She does her little fucking like
spider pose,
crane kick, and then it fucking turns around. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So they do it right away.
Yeah, they do it right away. But for whatever reason, everybody forgets about that part, and they always remember bullet time with fucking Neo because he's actually dodging a bullet.
I think that was like the most famous
Yeah.
scene from the fucking first movie, right? You know what I mean?
And then when you watch Kung Pao Enter the Fist, that's what they mimic when the fucking cow is shooting milk from its udders, and the chosen one, he does the bullet time bend backwards. Oh shit!
For the record, Kung Pao
is one of the
Devo's
favorites. Movies ever
Yeah,
made.
people hate it, but I fucking love it.
What about Pootie Tang?
It's one of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah.
Sign my pity on the red time. I need to put that on the fucking welcome to commentary. Love that movie.
And I just think that the movie, and obviously like another movie that came out really close to that was Existenz, that had this also had this idea of like virtual reality. It was a Cronenberg movie, so it went in a very different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it's not the first time, because you have like movies like Lawnmower Man, shit like that has broached this type of shit before, right? But the way that The Matrix did it, like, really captured the imagination of the public, you know.
And then like, you know, there was other
Johnny Mnemonic.
Equilibrium.
And Tron.
Equilibrium.
Yeah, Tron too. Yeah.
Equilibrium was another movie that was a similar type of
Oh, the
movie.
fighting style.
Yeah.
The fighting
Yes.
style, yeah.
Right,
Yes.
but
But that was
They even
after,
dressed the same.
right?
it
was definitely
It was
after.
after,
Yeah.
right? But I'm saying that like it took what
Even the way they dressed looked very similar to the way
it took
Neo
what,
dressed.
What you know what the Matrix had and made it its own. Equilibrium is a great movie, by the way, if you guys ever watched it.
Christian Bale, Tay Diggs.
Tay Diggs,
But
Sean Bean.
yeah, it's like the same type of themes
Sean
and stuff
Bean.
like that. And like you said, they
man.
literally look. If Christian Bale would have been in the Matrix, he would have dressed like the guy in that.
Equilibrium is actually like a mix between like Fahrenheit 451
Yeah.
and like The Matrix in a lot
Yeah,
of ways.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I gotta watch it.
So this brings me to like, I mean, this brings me to this idea of, okay, so it had this huge impact on the movie industry. But there's now it's, I mean, if you're young now, you may not know this and you may not like be aware of it. Cause for me, I took this class and I was in a class with a bunch of young people and they're talking about like the LA riots.
Yeah.
And like, these people were talking about like it was some historical event, like when we were young and we were like reading about Martin Luther King and shit, you know what I mean? And like the Vietnam War, like this thing that had happened in the past before we were born.
Yeah.
And it felt like that's what they were looking at. I'm like, I lived through this shit, like the OJ and the LA riots and stuff. And like, obviously, and so like this was the first time they ever even knew it happened, right?
That's crazy.
In the class, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe you're young and you're like 15, 16 years old and you don't know about this. And maybe you've heard about this, but when The Matrix first came out, there was like this backlash to the movie, that the extreme violence. Now I know Matrix wasn't like a bloody movie, but it was released around the time that like Grand Theft Auto was getting big, and like a lot of video games were like becoming more realistic, and they had a lot of violence in them, and movies also had a lot of violence in them, and they were starting to be like pointed out and singled out. And The Matrix was one because of an incident that happened at Columbine High School. Is that what it was?
In Colorado, yeah.
In Colorado, and I'm gonna look up when you guys start talking about when it actually occurred, but it was essentially this incident where these people dressed up like the people in the Matrix.
It was two boys. They did not dress up like people in the Matrix. They happened to wear trench coats, and they had weapons.
They dressed up
and
like people in the Matrix.
They
Neo wore a trench coat.
They wore fucking trench coats.
Yeah,
they
they
didn't
just
dress. They weren't like, we're gonna dress like people. They just wore fucking trench coats.
I'm trying to say like that was the narrative that
Well,
people
no.
tried to place on
True.
the people.
True,
Yes,
I agree.
You know what I mean?
That is what.
Same thing with
That is
Marilyn
what.
Manson.
So that is what people try to tie this to, not what those guys actually did. Those guys just wore trench coats. They took weapons into a school. They shot up a bunch of people, and
It occurred on April 20th, 1999.
So this was
which
before.
this was literally less than a month
Oh,
after the Matrix was
after,
released.
okay.
Yeah.
And I remember Marilyn Manson being another person who was accused of being influencing these kids, being an influence on these kids. Had claimed that Marilyn Manson was some influence on them, or someone had claimed that.
and that's because those kids might have said they like Marilyn Manson, or because
Fucking
the people researching everything went into their room and found a Marilyn Manson CD. Was like, oh, this is the devil's music.
That fucking guy looks like the guy from fucking He's dressed up like the guy from Clerks.
These guys are not wearing trench coats.
Like
either,
when
which
they
is weird.
came in, though, they had the trench coats.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were covering up all the weapons.
Yeah.
And they took them off and then just started going to town. So like the thing is they saw the trench coats, and so somebody saw the trench coats and immediately applied it to the Matrix.
Yeah.
Somebody saw the fact that they liked Marilyn Manson and must not have liked Marilyn Manson.
Also,
and it said that Marilyn Manson is telling them to kill other kids.
Also, they were like, they played Doom. And it's a bad influence. That's why I remember.
No, actually, Doom taught them how to murder.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was.
Fucking ridiculous.
This is another thing. Is the fact that they played a lot of first person shooters. Those first person shooters taught them how to murder.
Yeah,
and that's why
ridiculous.
there's a lot of like. I think this is probably the biggest proponent of the whole video game rating board.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
The other and it's funny because I shouldn't even.
You
say
mean
it's
the
funny.
SRB?
It's not funny.
No, the
Yeah.
SRB started because of the Mortal Kombat stuff in '96. Mortal Kombat, and the Sega CD game where we Night Trap.
Night Trap.
Yeah, those are the two games.
Well, it
that
obviously
started.
didn't work.
Well, the SRB was
Well,
it was in its infancy at this time. So
And it only works if the parents are involved.
yeah, I mean, obviously, it's just fucking wrong with these guys.
And whether it's Columbine or what just happened in Florida, it's a lot of it. I don't think has to do with weapons. I don't think it has to do with outside influence. I think the big part of it has to do with parenting and the mental state of these kids that are getting to a point to where they feel they have to enact this violence against other human beings. And being a parent and being involved in my friends' families and seeing how they raise kids and stuff, like these are children that have been forgotten.
Yeah.
And they get to a point to where they are trying to get attention or they're trying to do something, and the only way that they can get that what they need is this extreme violence.
And it's unfortunate that, for some reason, these kids tend to gravitate to movies like A Matrix and video games that are violent and music that tends to be a bit more abrasive to, the norm. And it's unfortunate that way. But you tell me that for some fucking reason some song told me to do something. It's a fucking song.
Everybody in this room has listened to music that has said way worse shit. Everybody in this room has watched movies that has done way worse shit.
Yeah.
Everybody in this room has played games that has done way worse shit. And we are still good human beings because we have a solid family
what were you
unit.
trying to get at, Clint, by the way? I mean, the effect on kids nowadays to this stuff?
No, I think that what I was going to say is that I think that it's a timely argument because, or a timely thing to discuss because recently there's been quite a few shootings in schools, and there's been a lot of talk about how they're trying to now teach teachers how to react and be trained how to react in a situation like this. And I think there's a lot of outrage that people feel like I'm a teacher. Like, why should I have to be trained how to deal with someone coming into the school and unleashing, firearms on innocent people? And I think that it's interesting now because of things like the Columbine incident where they tried to blame it on like Gooch said, songs or
like the
movies
media.
and the media.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's almost interesting to me now that you don't ever hear them say that. It's almost now that it's taboo to the point where people would accuse other people of being irresponsible by trying to blame the actions of a murderer on a game or a movie.
Dude,
I think now, go ahead.
What are you talking about? Like, one of the first things, the sheriff of fucking thing, he said it was the lack of family and rap music.
Yeah,
but they're blaming you.
No,
they were
Gooch,
blaming.
what I'm saying is that people do it, but other people criticize those people and jump down their throats for saying those types of things. Whereas back in 1999, that wasn't the media's rhetoric. The media's rhetoric is that actually maybe these things are a problem.
The media was like,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think now we've evolved enough, 20 years later almost, that we understand that it actually is and I don't want to make like some like political statement like maybe Devo has, because I don't have kids, and and I maybe not in a situation like that, but I think the idea is that now people are looking to profile these people. They are looking to understand what are the life experiences that these people have had that led up to the incident that may have influenced them to think that this was like a solution in their life that they thought that they wanted to do. Well, and instead of just assuming that like someone else did something and that's the direct cause, like someone else did something that they don't even know these people.
Yeah.
And that's the cause why they did something terrible. So we need to stop these people from making rap music. We need to stop these people from making movies.
Right.
And actually, like Devo said, a lot of it has to do with, and this is the same thing for serial killers, it's the way that they were brought up. It's their life experiences, their environment.
Yep. Yeah. I listen to a lot of like true crime podcasts and stuff, and they do a lot more research than I do, but every serial killer that they cover, none of them have ever been influenced by media.
Yeah.
It's all been personal influence.
Yeah.
It's all been how they were raised, whether it's their mother or their father, the people around them. And even in these school shootings, whether it's Columbine or what's happened in Florida recently, it's not the influence of their music, of the video games. It's you look at the kids and a lot of, I think 100% of every attacker is some frustrated boy. Yeah. Whether that is a young boy or an older boy, it's the fact that it's a forgotten boy. And
I mean, it's tough because, like, I think it is possible that a person could be influenced by the media, and because they see when the media, they think that is the way to solve their problems, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why they think that is because there is no one, like you said, there's no one around telling them that's not real life. That's a movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like Gooch said, like, it's a fucking song.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it makes you feel different, but I mean, seriously, if you release it to someone that doesn't know you, do you really think that he knows what you're going through? I mean, come on now. Just have some fucking common sense. But you won't have common sense if you have no one to teach you.
But that's the thing is a lot of people, they hear that song and they're like, that guy knows exactly what I'm feeling. And maybe these kids actually dedicated what they did to that because maybe something somebody said resonated so hard, and that's something that's unfortunate. Is I can guarantee you anything that in this particular case Marilyn Manson, or maybe it's Trent Reznor, or maybe it's fucking Miley Cyrus, they might not be intentionally trying to invoke these feelings, but somebody interprets it that way, and then they begin to act on it. But the thing is somebody can have those feelings, and if they're going to enact on it, how easy are we going to make it for them to follow through?
No.
And that's where this whole, and this is a completely different topic, but it's where the whole gun control stuff comes in. You know, it's like, do we have to have assault rifles easily available? For what reason? Yeah. Well, we're not using the hunt. We're not using this. We're going to use them to defend ourselves of what? You know? And in Florida, apparently there was an armed guard outside who did jack shit while some kid was firing up.
Fool didn't want to go inside.
You know? And it's like, what's the point of arming people if they're just going to stand outside and just wait for things to die down? You know? So it's like, it's a completely different argument. It's crazy, but in terms of how this all affects the Matrix, I personally do not see how the Matrix could influence this. It's the way I see it is a couple of political nuts that saw a trench coat in a movie that has a lot of violence, and then saw some boys in a trench coat committing a lot of violence, and just put two to two together and said, "Hey,
it can't be
that makes sense to me.
It can't be guns. It can't be family. It's got to be the media type thing."
Yeah,
and the media body. You're right. The media body look like sinker.
And
back
a lot
then.
of these people probably say, "You know what? God is good. God is great. God is family." God is school, and so it has to be the person that is anti-God, which is Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, the loss of faith.
They consider this surfer boy from Point Break to be God. So,
I apologize to the listener if we got too political or whatever. I know people like a lot. It's this weird thing where, like, in America, you can't talk about politics because, like, if like if you start talking about it and the other person doesn't agree with you, like offended that you like have an opinion. It's like the same thing with religion. But I just wanted to make sure that we covered it because it was a huge part of the narrative of this film when it was released, because it happened so quickly after the movie got released.
Not only that, there were. I mean, Columbine was a prolific event that happened. You know,
for sure.
And
I mean, you may not know about it if you're born after it happened and so forth. Like you're 18 years old, but
there was a few other events after this one that are lesser known that had the same thing. Was the guy with the black trench coat, young kid in a black trench coat that blew a few guys away and kids away, and like I mean, Columbine is the one that's huge, right? Yeah. But there was a few other ones, and you know what I find crazy is that we all graduated in 99. That was our graduating year, by the way. We graduated. That was April. That happened April 1999. We graduated June of 1999.
Yeah.
So when all this shit happened, they were like, they made us do like, remember they made us, I don't know, you weren't, I'm sure they made you do it too, Devo, but we were both went to high school, me and Clint.
I didn't go to high school.
Yeah, well, you didn't go to our high school, I'm saying.
You didn't actually say that. You said, we went to high school. I don't know about you.
That's why I did not go to high school.
Anyway, so right after it happened, they like made us do like the drills and stuff. They like locked the doors.
Yeah.
I'm like, what about the glass windows that are like right over here? And it's like this whole wall is a glass window. They're like, just stay in the corner over there. I'm like, dude, you know these guys had like a shotgun. They could just blow open the door.
At that time, I went to Gunderson. That shit was a concrete prison.
Well, ours was.
It didn't matter.
We went to a different school there. I mean, like I said, but it was. Imagine like we were like the last graduating class, right? To see that. I mean, prior to this. Like, we didn't know anything about this stuff. There was never anything. We had our...
This was the first?
It wasn't
it probably happened. It just wasn't as publicized.
It had happened, not to this scale.
And not to... dare I say during our time.
No, it did. You know, there was a few, because I looked it up. There was a few, like, happened, or like, earlier 90s. But, like I said, nothing to this scale.
During our high school years?
Well, yeah, like in 1990 and like 80, there was a few that happened in the 80s, but like I said,
I was in high school in the 80s.
No, but like
I'm
talking about school. Like
apparently you were in high school at all.
In schools, I'm talking about from K to 12,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
It obviously happens more in high school, but I mean, I'm talking about which is we were in the.
I mean, this recent one was in elementary school.
No, they were in
Florida.
It was high school. You're right.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that we were one of the last classes like to graduate to know that. I mean, we could go to class and not get assaulted by some dude that is going to have a fucking rifle.
I mean, we get assaulted by some dude with some brass knucks.
Well, I mean, we got beat up. I mean, I got beat up.
Or
shit.
I mean, at least not like a automatic rifle.
Or like these guys are like shotguns and fucking machine pistols and shit.
Crazy.
Yeah, so.
A bird shit on me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got beat up. Shit, I got beat up. What the fuck, you know? What?
But, okay, so...
On a lighter note...
Actually, shut on my friend.
Okay,
me,
so this movie came out in 99. Like Gooch said, we graduated in 99. But if you were born in 99, like you were born, like, let's say you were born, like, within the first, like, maybe you're born in, like, 95, 96, 97. You were pretty much unaware of the movie when it came out, right?
Yeah.
When it came out, but it was during your time, so I think those people would learn about the movie.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You'd be surprised, dude. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just, and so it's weird because a lot, like, you get this movie that came out so long ago, and when we were young, that was like Star I think that like the last movie came out when we were like 2 or something, right?
Well, it was 87, so
no, 83 I think was.
Jedi was 83, yeah.
Yep.
And so like we were unaware that it existed at the time it came out, right? This is like something that we hear our parents will tell us about and all this stuff like that, and it's Star Wars, right? And so you are aware of it, you watch it as a little kid. I'm just curious, like, and I don't think that this is actually the case, is that The Matrix is kind of in the place that Star Wars was before the prequels, right? Where you had this trilogy that came out of movies.
Yeah.
It was really influential. It was big. Everyone had seen it, and a lot of people had loved it. There'd been video games and stuff like that.
Right.
But there'd been no movie for at least a decade. And that's where we are right now, right? Because Return of the Jedi was 83. And Phantom Menace was 99.
Yes.
Right? So that's 16 years in between movies. And right now we're coming up on 16 years in between movies because the last Matrix movie was 2003. They both came, the second and third one came out the same year.
And now this is a reboot that's coming out, right?
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
But, and so it's interesting to think that there's a section of people that were basically born or close to have born after the movie came out. And these people, may not know what the Matrix is. They may have heard of it. They may have never actually seen it.
Right.
They may know that Keanu Reeves is in it because he's still a star right now. Which was another weird thing about Star Wars is that like Han Solo, Harrison Ford was a star, but like Carrie Fisher and and Mark Hamill were not stars. Really.
No,
you know what I mean. They were you really only saw them in Star Wars at the time.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of them actually either don't know what it is or haven't seen it, or maybe they've seen it, but it's maybe antiquated now.
Yeah.
Because this is before, like, I mean, obviously the internet's around, but this is before like smartphones. This is before like social media exists. And like a lot of the stuff that's in that maybe feels dated. Like, because I know a lot of people now, young people, will look at the original Star Wars and be like, this is garbage. Like, the effects are terrible and shit like that. They don't understand, like, at the time, they were fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're all a bunch of fucking prats.
And I feel like there's this young group of people that love Star Wars. They may or may not like the originals, but they love Star Wars. They love the new ones, and it's a big thing now. Like my 4-year-old nephew, your sons, they know what Star Wars is.
Yep.
They know everything about it. They know all the characters' names. They know everything. And granted, it's a little bit geared towards kids. Maybe the newer movies aren't so much, but they may not know what the Matrix is at all. And the Matrix was rated R.
Let's look it up. Hold on.
Yeah. But they may not know what the Matrix. And the Matrix is quite violent.
Yeah.
They may not know what it is at all. It's like almost. But then again, they may not know what Predator is either. You know what I'm saying?
They're not gonna know what Predator is.
Yeah.
No.
And so, like, the Matrix, it doesn't hold the place in their hearts, really, like Star Wars does.
Well, I mean,
maybe not even. I mean, Star Trek is not even the same as Star Wars.
No, I mean the thing is though is that Star Wars is just. I mean, there's so much media out there that has to do with Star Wars. Dude. I mean, there's like for little kids. I mean, you have like the Star Wars Legos, which is like so family friendly, dude. And like then you can do the cartoons like the. What is it? Star Wars Clone Wars and that the new one that's out. What's it called? The Rebels. You know?
Yeah.
And you can start them there. And
But why didn't they ever do that for the Matrix?
dude, the Matrix is too violent, fool. Yeah, Matrix fans aren't going to be watching some kiddie cartoon about it, dude. I mean, there was a time.
Yeah, but there's other little cartoons where kids where like the main character is like some martial artist that beats people up. It's very common.
That I understand.
Kung Fu Panda.
I understand that, but
I mean, Neo doesn't actually have to. He doesn't kill people.
no, I understand that. But
unless he shoot, and then he's actually not actually killing people.
They just
The
never
Matrix is actually rated R.
Oh,
there you go. You know, but I mean, the crazy thing about it is
that's
that
why they would never do it then.
no, but I mean, the crazy thing about it is, they never did that. But like, I mean, Conan the Barbarian, there was a Conan cartoon. That shit was rated
true.
R. But then
I want a Predator cartoon for little kids.
But then again, they did ruin the franchise with making part 2 PG-13.
Oh, so maybe that's why they thought it would be a viable franchise.
Exactly.
It's really adult though.
It's an adult.
I feel like it's more adult than The Matrix.
Oh, it's way more adult than the Matrix. But I
guess the thing with The Matrix is the ideas are very dark.
and a lot of them are abstract and shit like that. It's like
you say it's a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
A 5-year-old kid know. I mean, I guess maybe they will.
now they might know
Yeah.
like about possibly living in a matrix, like we're living in a computer program. You know, people are still thinking like, oh, we're living in a matrix. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. You know.
You notice I didn't go there, by the way, when we were talking about that in the last episode, because I know you're going to get really angry.
It's
about
fucking
that
stupid,
shit.
fool. The whole thing about the whole thing about sci-fi. It's a lot more easy to grasp when there's spaceships. You're out in the cosmos, killing bad guys. I mean, you can be shooting them, they're clones or whatever, but it's a lot more easier to grasp of a concept than,
robots harvesting
people for their energy.
it's pretty dark. But then again, people take their kids to church and see a dude crucified.
Exactly.
On the wall.
So the whole thing is that, I mean, LucasArts, and Lucas themselves wanted this. He wanted that to make it more of a family friendly franchise, and that's why he did. I mean,
Jar Jar.
Well, not Jar Jar, but there was cartoons, there was books, there was
comics.
I mean, the cartoons was terrible. The stupid.
But there's little kids books and stuff.
I'll tell you.
I don't think there's little kids.
I'll tell you one
books.
thing. There was never a Matrix fucking Christmas special.
There should be.
I would have watched it.
There should be. Yeah, there should be. Hey, Wachowskis, that's what we need.
I would have watched it. I would have watched the Matrix Christmas special, but you know what there was?
Fuck Jupiter Ascending. Let's do the Matrix holiday special.
Matrix holiday special.
Jupiter Ascending is garbage.
Was it?
It's terrible.
Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Cloud Atlas
that's the
is
whole
no good
thing.
either.
So when you have something that
I actually like Cloud Atlas.
that was like Star Wars, there was a huge time missing, but between that time there was a whole lot of media that was not just pointed at one certain group but pointed at everyone.
Yeah.
And that the content out there, even if it was kiddie content, it still made good content for someone that was a true fan of it.
So you think it's the marketers?
Oh, definitely marketing.
Yeah.
Definitely marketing. And
So that's why the young people aren't really familiar with Matrix.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Warner Brothers themselves aren't that great at marketing, to be honest with you, dude.
We got about 10 minutes here.
And left or
Till what?
It's half an hour we've been talking, so we.
on this problem. So on that note, I think it's totally marketing. I think Warner Brothers has dropped the ball on whoever there is, their marketing thing, and I think that's what it is, and that's why people don't know. I mean, I'm sure if we show these kids like the Matrix, they might think this is lame, but I mean, they may not. They might not. It's really good. It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
It just seems weird to me that they don't even know. They don't even really know what it is. But okay, so let's. Given that, let's rank let's see where the Matrix franchise ranks in terms of all-time greatest sci-fi franchises.
Okay.
So we're gonna start from the top, and then we're gonna get to the Matrix, and then we'll stop wherever the Matrix falls. So number one, I think it's pretty easy to say that it's probably Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, it has to be number
I will
one.
say Star Wars for sure.
Second, probably Star Trek.
Yes.
Yeah.
You agree that
guaranteed.
Star Trek is number
Yeah,
two?
Star Trek.
Yeah.
By the way, Star Trek Discovery is pretty fucking dope.
And I don't know if you're gonna agree with it, but Doctor Who is probably gonna be pretty close to that.
Doctor Who's pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, I would say because I mean, you guys might not like it, but it's a worldwide phenomenon.
I
and
like
people-
Doctor Who.
I like
so
Doctor Who too. So.
You shut your fucking
No,
mouth.
I love Doctor Who. I mean, I haven't seen the new stuff, but
Fuck you. Shut your
I
mouth.
watched Doctor Who when it was
Fuck
it was
you.
on PBS back in 1980s.
We started at Doctor Who number 1 and moved all the way through it. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. So 3 Doctor Who.
Okay.
Now it gets dicey though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now number 4. Okay, I'm gonna give you some potential candidates. Okay?
Throw them out there.
Alien,
Oh, okay. That's a good number 4.
Whoa. Keep throwing. Keep throwing.
Keep throwing.
Back to the
Put
Future.
that dick back in your pants, bitch.
Strictly sci-fi. I'd still stick Aliens. Go.
Back to the Future, Blade Runner, Chronicles of Riddick. Let's see here.
All right, let's pause. Of those 4, Back to the Future for sure.
Ghostbusters.
Hold on. Whoa. I said fucking pause, Clint.
This fool's getting kind of ornery right now. He's
Well,
pretty
he
angry,
was
fool.
drunk, fool.
We got 10 minutes. Fucking
Hey.
screaming at people,
I'm
yelling
fucking-
at anuses. Man.
This was falling asleep. Is about to fucking hit that thing.
I'm listen to my authority.
All right, so those 4. What
Look
were
at-
the first
look at-
4?
look at the white man.
Those 4.
Look at the white man, Gooch.
Look at him. I'm captain now.
Look at him.
I
know how this feels.
How does what feel?
Just continue on,
How does
douche.
what feel?
To be controlled by the white man.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you are more white than I am, so
That's not true.
That is
That is not true.
So it was Back to the
Not
Future,
true.
Aliens, Chronicles of Riddick,
Back to
and
so
Blade Runner.
of those 4,
Yeah.
Back to the Future for sure, and then Aliens.
So you're saying Back to the Future is number 4
Yes.
over Aliens, all time sci-fi.
Yeah.
man.
Because let's look at this. Look at the quality of the 3 Back to the Future movies, and then look at the quality of the 4, 5, 6. No, 4 Alien movies.
Alien 1 and 2 are actually pretty high quality.
Yes.
3 it gets a little bit more
Rough.
wonky.
Resurrection.
Prometheus.
3 is Alien 3 is good.
Prometheus is not an Alien.
No,
movie.
Alien 3.
What are you talking
Alien
about?
3 is the
It's
one where they're at the
barely
prison.
Aliens movie.
Alien 3 is the one they're at the prison.
This was said
Yeah.
Prometheus is not an alien movie.
Oh, Prometheus is an alien movie.
Yeah.
And give me Back to the Future
You still
over
that's fine.
Prometheus.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
your preference, but I mean,
putting Alien over Back to the Future?
I put Alien. Just it's more sci-fi than Back to the Future. I mean, I agree that Back to the Future is a sci-fi film, but I mean, there's spaceships, there's aliens, there's fucking fucking people in cryostasis. It feels more sci-fi.
But we're talking about franchises. And
Even
for me-
the franchise.
And for me, the franchise of Back to the Future is better than the Alien franchise because of the weakness of everything after Alien and Aliens. Because you look at Alien 3, I like the movie. Dare I say, I do not like that movie better than anything in Back to the Future. Alien Resurrection is an okay movie, but dare I say, I do not like that movie better than anything in the Back to the Future franchise. Prometheus, I really like, but do I like that over anything in the Back to the Future franchise?
Yeah.
No. Alien, was it Resurrect? Not what's
Prometheus 2.
What do you like? You like both?
What's Prometheus 2 called?
Alien Covenant.
Alien
garbage.
Covenant, that is probably the weakest of any Alien movie. So there you go. That's how I feel.
But both are better than Matrix.
Oh yeah.
You
don't
for
think-
franchise?
Yeah.
You like Matrix more than Aliens.
So you like the Aliens franchise overall better, less than the Matrix?
No.
No, I can't.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think because
I think the Aliens as a whole is a better franchise.
Aliens is it's you look at Alien and then you look at say Terminator, right? So Alien it's about aliens. It's in the future. You look at Terminator, it's about something the humans created versus something
What
that
does Terminator have to do with this?
because I'm talking about like robots. So
Okay.
like robots with Terminator and robots with Matrix, right? So the Matrix is all about robots.
Uh-huh.
Somebody's cold over here.
I'm fucking freezing, fool. Yeah.
Um,
That's why I'm awake still.
so, but what I'm saying is the reason why I have Alien over the Matrix is because the world in the future is different. As I like the idea of the alien aspect over the whole. Robots have taken over and created a
Right.
virtual reality
right.
and fucking
I like Alien better.
yeah.
I like Alien better.
Yeah, me
okay.
too.
Chronicles of Riddick over the Matrix.
No, I think Matrix is a better series.
Okay.
I think so.
I mean, it's good. I mean, I would
There's-
suggest it. I
there's
just like
three
the-
movies, right?
Yeah.
And Pitch Black was phenomenal. Chronicles of Riddick is the second one.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
The third one.
It was the best thing about that movie is the fact that fucking Katie Sackhoff gets naked.
Yeah.
Great. Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters 1, fucking one of my top comedies ever.
Yeah.
But comedy. Top comedy.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters 2, I don't like that movie.
Yeah. It's okay.
I don't like that
No
movie.
Figo?
No. Ghostbusters the video game, I like.
Is
That
it a
was a
better
good one.
franchise than the Matrix?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
And that's because Ghostbusters the video game or Ghostbusters the movie, the first one, great. Ghostbusters 2,
Yeah, it's a good dive.
And then you look at the video games, it's like, oh, it's all garbage. Like, I would rather play any of the Matrix movies over the video games. But Ghostbusters the video game for like the Xbox 360 is fucking
Jurassic Park?
That's a good sci-fi.
it's
series.
sci-fi, but like not
Not better
really,
than the Matrix?
really?
I like
don't know.
Matrix better.
I like Matrix better too.
Mad Max.
Matrix.
Matrix.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Men in Black.
Matrix.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding on that one. We all know. Okay. Predator.
I like the Predators more.
Planet of the Apes.
Ooh, that's a hard one. Planet of the
Matrix.
Apes. Planet
I
of the
like
Apes.
Matrix better.
I like
Yep.
Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
Fuck monkeys.
Resident Evil.
Matrix.
Matrix.
RoboCop.
Matrix.
Where's Terminator at?
Terminator. I'm going alphabetical.
Oh,
you fucker.
okay.
I haven't gotten there
okay,
yet.
That's fine.
Okay. I was gonna say Star Fox. That's funny. Snake Plissken. Escape from New York.
Matrix.
Matrix. I mean, the first one was phenomenal, but the rest.
Second
of
one was just like,
garbage.
hey, let's get a character and suck his dick.
Yeah, it's
Terminator.
terrible. Terminator.
Tron.
Matrix.
Matrix.
Transformers.
Matrix.
Ooh. Okay.
The first season of the cartoon and the fucking 1980 cartoon movie,
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Everything after that, bullshit.
Garbage. I have to agree.
Garbage games too.
Okay. Well, I think we it's it's in the top 10. Then I think. Probably.
Oh yeah. For
Oh,
sure.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
for
I think
sure.
Matrix probably made. I
mean-
don't want to go through the whole damn thing.
I mean, we
again,
got
but
we got the major. We got Star Wars. We got Star Trek. We got Doctor Who. We got
Alien,
Aliens.
Terminator,
We got Future,
we
Back
put
to the Future.
Futurama.
No, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Predators.
Ghostbusters. We put in there, right?
you had RoboCop or no?
No.
No, I mean I have it above Ghostbusters at that point.
You had it above
Matrix.
Ghostbusters.
If we put fucking RoboCop in there, we put fucking Starship Troopers in there.
Yeah, I mean I still have it above that.
Dune, garbage.
That's
Dune's one like
The movies, the books are actually.
yeah. The books. Well, the books are good, but I mean the movie's garbage, dude. I mean,
Blade Runner. We had it above Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blade Runner, like I
The
haven't
new
seen
Blade Runner is fucking good.
Yeah, I
It's
assume
good.
so, but I haven't seen it yet. Though.
Yeah, I can't say.
It's
it.
better than OG Blade Runner for sure.
Yeah.
It's Stargate.
I like it more than Stargate because there's more action. So I've
only seen the movie, so
and like I saw some of the TV shows. It was okay, but I prefer.
So Matrix is up there then. It's one of the best sci-fi franchises ever.
I agree.
For me,
I
for me,
agree.
yeah.
I mean, it's definitely in my top 10.
Yeah. So you kids, I'll get the top 10 written down close as we can, and Diva will put it up somewhere. But you kids need to go through it, and you kids need to watch these fucking movies because you're just
And
a bitch
fucking
if you haven't
tell
watched
us.
it. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
don't be a little bitch. Don't be a bitch.
And these are the franchises. There's some single movies out there. I mean, Total Recall is fucking amazing. I fucking love Total Recall. The whole story is great. Anyways, what's
So
next?
we didn't. That was the thing. We didn't anything that had just one movie or was like maybe one movie, but it had like some other stuff with it. You needed to have like more than one movie.
Yeah,
mostly,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And I didn't mention Bill and Ted.
Don't be a bitch!
Which I also love. Let's talk about. Let's finish this whole thing off because people are getting drunk. People are getting.
I gotta
ornery.
take a fucking
Yeah, I know.
getting
It's crazy time.
crazy.
So let's finish this
one
up
break,
quick.
one break, and we'll finish up.
No, let's
Okay.
just finish it up real quick.
No,
Oh, you gotta
is
go,
it gonna be
okay.
quick or is it gonna be like?
That's up to you, motherfuckers.
Let's take a pee
Yeah,
break.
take a quick PPV. Okay.
And buzzed.
So let's finish this off. Like I said, before the pause, before these guys had their
PB breaks.
they
PB time.
ejected the fluids from their what is it? Your
Bladder.
Yeah.
through their urethras.
So it was urine, not jizz.
Divo, can you give us a taste of what it sounded like?
No, that shit was like it was like a torrent and shit. It was like
It's not like it was like.
the old man torrent and shit.
Although, like,
At least it wasn't like Ben Stiller's old man in fucking Zoolander. Come on, baby, just give me a little twinkle. Give me a little
That's
twinkle.
what I'm talking about.
Twinkle, twinkle, baby, twinkle, twinkle.
It's not like when I go to Lucha's room and I go on his pillow and I'm just like, shit, Daddy wants to fuck.
Oh my gosh! All right, well, are we gonna
So
finish
we're
this
gonna
off?
finish it off
This
by
fucking
talking
douchebag.
about.
I finished off for
Oh, God.
sure.
Oh God, what have we done?
I don't know. This was giving us drinks full.
I know it's unbelievable, Full.
That's why I'm here.
We're gonna finish off with what Gooch alluded to earlier is the future of the Matrix. I
Is the
think it's
future.
apropos to finish this way.
Is the future.
It's the future. This is the future. This is the future. So I just want to read you guys a little bit of information here that I saw on Wikipedia about this, addressing this. Is that the Wachowskis originally intended for the Matrix. They intended not to make any more movies after the Matrix Revolutions. And so what they wanted to do is they said that there was this idea of the gamers inheriting the storyline.
Yes.
Quote, inheriting the storyline. And so the Matrix Online game was supposed to be the official continuation of the storyline from the movies.
mythos,
And like,
yes.
obviously when you're making something like this big, you assume like this is going to be successful. That's why we're doing it. And it's going to live on for 15 years like WoW has, right? Well, obviously that didn't happen. It ended after 4 years. And so the storyline stopped at that point. So I feel like given what happened in there probably is more story to tell because the universe is still there.
I think so.
In 2015, Lily Wachowski, I don't know which one that is anymore.
Well, one of the Wachowski siblings.
But
So there's Lana and Lily.
yeah, I don't know which one is which anymore. But Lily said,
I don't remember who they were.
I think Lana's
Anyway.
the thin one because I think that's the first one that did it.
Yes.
So Lily is the other dude.
Yes. Andy, I think.
Well, it doesn't matter. Anyways,
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
so
you can't
Lily-
say that anymore. That's offensive.
what doesn't matter? What were they?
So
What
Lily
So Lily-
Wachowski said that it was Return to the Matrix was a particularly repelling idea in these times, unquote, noting the studio's tendency to greenlight sequels, reboots, and adaptations over original material. So they're
Right.
trying to get like Cloud Atlas and Jupiter Ascending made,
Yeah.
but they're having struggling because probably people want them to make the next Matrix movie, right?
Right.
So they are sort of, and so then Lana Wachowski said that they hadn't heard anything about a reboot, but that she thought that the studio might be looking to replace them.
Oh wow!
Replace the Wachowskis.
Yes.
So this is Warner Brothers trying to replace them, right? This is Warner Brothers.
So in March of 2017, Warner Brothers, it was reported, was in the early stages of relaunching the franchise with Zach Penn in talks to write a treatment and interest in getting my nigga Michael B to star.
Well, that'd be awesome.
According to Hollywood Reporter, fuck them. We give them their fucking credit. The Wachowskis nor Joel Silver were involved in the endeavor, although the studio would like to get at minimum the blessing of the Wachowskis. And then Penn responded to the report by saying the reboot and remake were inaccurate, and he wants to see stories set in the established universe.
Oh snap!
Keanu, Mr. Reeves himself,
Mr. fucking
said he would
Neo.
return to a new Matrix film, but only if the Wachowskis were writing and
Nice.
directing. So if you're Warner Brothers, is it more worth it to you to reboot it and have creative control over it and just have Michael B do it, or is it more worth it to have Keanu reprise the role, but you have to give creative control to the Wachowskis?
Here is what I personally want. I want Wachowskis. I want Keanu. I want Michael B.
Me too.
So
want
how do you
cake
make
and
all
eat it
that? How do you make all that work, right? So you get the Wachowskis. 'Cause to me, here's how I feel. And we've seen this with plenty of sci-fi franchises. You've got the Terminators. You've got the Aliens. You've got the RoboCops. When you get different directors, you get different writers involved. It's a different story. It's a different experience. To me, The Matrix is the Wachowskis. The Wachowskis have been there from The Matrix to all the video games, all the books, all the comics, they've been a part of every aspect of it. The Matrix is their baby. I don't want to see a Matrix without the Wachowskis. I also don't want to see a Matrix without Neo. Like, to me, Matrix is Neo. And if you can come up with a story that is the Matrix without Neo, then, like, as long as it's sold, because we got Star Wars without technically Luke Skywalker, right? And it fucking worked.
But we already had 3 movies without him too.
But those didn't work very well. But if you can have, like, say, like, I don't know, like a Keanu passing the torch to a Michael B or something like that, like, you can make those two characters work together or in the same universe and have it be successful. And that is something that I would love to see. Like, I would love for the whole Matrix mythos to continue on with the Wachowskis, with Keanu, or with Michael B. Even if Keanu was like, you know what, this is going to be my last one, but they can make it work. As long as they make it work, I want to see it.
I agree with Devo. I would like to see a Keanu. I'd like to see a Michael B because that'd be a cool character. I mean, even the Wachowskis wanted like an African American character to be Neo first because it was their first.
Yeah,
pick.
I think they asked Will Smith.
Their first
right?
pick was Will Smith. Yeah.
Everyone wanted Will Smith to be in their movie though,
At that
back
time,
then.
99, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Will Smith.
The whole thing about Matrix being the Wachowskis, I'm not too sure about that because we thought Star Wars was Lucas, but obviously Phantom Menace and those ones were Lucas, and they made it worse.
You tapped on exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
I want the Wachowskis to be there, or Wachowski, or whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Well, that's not what I want to call them. It's what they call themselves.
Well,
They're
that's
just
fine. That's fine. The
Wachowskis.
Wachowski. Okay, the Wachowskis.
And they're Lily and Lana. by
No,
the
that's
way.
fine. I just call them the Wachowski siblings, the Wachowski sisters, I suppose now.
They just call by Wachowskis, I think.
And I mean, I wouldn't mind them having like another writer there per se to give them like a new, another
A fresh perspective.
a fresh perspective. And I mean, they can cancel them out or not, but I mean, I would like to see, like Diva was saying, either pass the torch or somehow Neo being like, since he was resurrected by the machines, somehow he was corrupted by them. You know,
Ooh.
and he would and
Neo is a bad guy?
Yeah, Neo is a bad
Oh,
guy.
Michael B's the good guy?
Michael B's the good guy.
Oh,
right?
What would be
hey
interesting?
guys, look at my boner right now.
What if they started making agents that look like Keanu?
Or agents look like Keanu, right?
Like he was like so like with, you look at the other agents, they kind of look like Smith, right?
Yeah. Agents like kind of look like Keanu, and they like infiltrate.
I've got a
and stuff
hard
like
on.
that. So that's the way I want to go. I'd be like I said, I'll be unless they like part 4 and the Wachowskis are part of it, and they fucking blow my fucking mind, then I would be fine. Yeah, I said blow me, I know for a while, but
Oh God,
I'd be wary about it. What about you, Clint?
We can't talk, dude. But okay, so this idea that this point that you made, Gooch, about how Lucas sort of, I think it's universally thought of that he botched the prequel trilogy. Excuse me, shit. And I think that part of that is because I think the thing that made the original Star Wars so special, and the thing that Lucas had at that time to make it special, is almost like an athlete being in their prime.
Right.
And an athlete's in their prime for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And it's the movies that they make before that time, they're just not quite as good as the ones that they made during their prime. And then once they get out of their prime, it's almost like they can't even make a movie that can stand up to the ones that they made before. And I'm not saying that that's the Wachowskis, but if you look at the track record, I think that maybe they are out of their prime. Maybe the Matrix was their prime.
Reloaded, and then it went downhill pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then if you look at their stuff outside of the Matrix, Cloud Atlas and Speed Racer, Jupiter
God,
Ascending.
Speed Racer's
Like I like Speed Racer. To me, Speed Racer was a great movie adaptation of the cartoon. I like Cloud Atlas. I have not seen Jupiter Ascending, but
gosh,
you look
terrible.
at Star Wars, right? So Star Wars, written, directed by George Lucas, and then it becomes New Hope. Empire Strikes Back, written by George Lucas, directed by somebody else. Probably the best Star Wars movie. Return of the Jedi, written by George Lucas, directed by somebody else.
He directed the first one.
Yes. And then you look at the prequels, written, directed by George Lucas, all 3 of them. And then after that, it's written by somebody else, directed by somebody else. So you look at the George Lucas track record, and he really only, in terms of writer-director, he hit it out of the park with A New Hope. In terms of writer, he did really great with Empire and Jedi, but he did not direct those movies. When he's a director, the shit goes downhill.
And I think a big part we had with the prequels was the acting performances, which is it's drawn by the directors a lot of times.
Because he's telling them,
it's telling them to say this, and then they do the takes all these times, and you got to choose the right ones.
No, the director and how it's written, you know.
That too, right? I mean, you can only there's certain lines you can only deliver.
Exactly.
And you've got the same guy writing the cardboard script telling you to read it like a cardboard box.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like if the Wachowskis want to do it, fine. I have no problem with it, right?
I say give him one chance, right?
Like, I want more Matrix. That's what I want. That's my main
too.
goal is I
Yeah.
want more Matrix. But if the Wachowskis don't do it, I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah, me
but don't
too.
get me wrong. If the Wachowskis don't do it and they fuck it up, then I'm just going to be disappointed, right? But I'd be disappointed if the Wachowskis did it and they fucked it up too, right?
Yes,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
that I think this idea of what you consider fucking it up might be different if the Wachowskis did it, because you would sort of trust that they have a plan.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, I don't know if I like that movie, but I trust that they did what they did in the originals, that they probably got something special up their sleeve, in the new trilogy.
Yeah.
Or if there's going to be a trilogy, whatever.
I'll put it this way. We had George Lucas give us the original trilogy, and we all loved it. He gave us a prequel trilogy. We all fucking hated it, right? The Wachowskis...
I like some of it, but most of it.
They gave us the original trilogy. We all loved it.
Yep.
And they gave us a prequel or a sequel trilogy. As long as they don't follow George Lucas's suit, then they'll be fine.
Yeah, it's gonna.
I mean, the ultimate's out of their hands.
And
they can make it if they want
Exactly.
to make it. It's up to the Wachowskis to decide if they want to be a part of it or not.
Yeah.
Yes. I think they are smart enough not to go down the George Lucas route. I think they are smart enough to want to make the movie or the movies they want to make and continue on the entire mythos of what they created. If they feel they will not get the support of the studio to do that, then they'll step out. And then
I don't think that would happen. I think if they said they wanted to do it, the studio would say, "Fine, you do it."
See, I don't
think they would.
nowadays.
I don't know. Warner Brothers? I don't know about Warner
I think the
Brothers, dude.
studio would be like, you know what? Like, they're going to look at what we can potentially cash out on.
Yeah.
And with the recent technically failures of the Wachowskis, I think they're going to be they're going to be looked at as like a liability, as opposed to like, you know, if Speed Racer knocked it out of the park, if Cloud Atlas knocked it out of the park, and then fucking Jupiter Ascending failed, then they could probably be willing to like write that off. But Speed Racer was not a commercial success. Jupiter Ascending was not a commercial success. Cloud Atlas was not a commercial success. Not like the Matrix movies. So the studios are going to be less willing to work with them because of their recent technical box office failures.
Yeah, but if those movies had been successful, the Wachowskis would not even consider it at all. Period. Because they wouldn't need to.
Yeah.
Like this idea that like you go back to what you were good at because you failed at something else, right? Like people do this.
No,
like
maybe, but have they come out and said we're only going to go back to the Matrix because we feel we failed with that?
No, I don't think there would. No one's going to say that. But I'm saying like this is what happens to people.
I feel that the Wachowskis in particular would go back and want to play with the Matrix because they want to play with the Matrix, as opposed to George Lucas because all he knows is fucking Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Well, they just got. I just said right here they don't want to.
Yeah,
they don't want to be with the Matrix.
Yeah.
They find it repelling. That's what I'm trying to say. And I feel like the only way
they're not going to do it.
But here's the thing. Keanu said he wouldn't do it unless the Wachowskis were involved. So that's what I'm trying to say is
the studio don't give a fuck then.
I think they should.
They should, but they
John
won't.
Wick is big. Keanu's big. And if you're the studio and you're going to make the Matrix, it would be nice if Keanu was there, and if it takes the Wachowskis to get Keanu to do it.
Do you know what's bigger than a studio, or do you know what's bigger than an actor and a director? A studio. They have
people don't go see the movie because Warner Brothers made it.
That they don't, but Warner Brothers doesn't know that. Warner Brothers says, "Hey, no, they don't. They say, hey, we make all these great movies, and people are going to see our movies because they want to see our movies." They don't want to see our movies because of an actor. They don't want to see our movies because of a director. They want to see our movies because we make the movies.
They're wrong, though.
I don't think that they think that.
Oh, I think
that's
that.
why they pay Keanu Reeves $20 million. I think that's why they pay all these directors this money, because they know that the way you sell a movie is the stars, is the sometimes the director.
Warner Brothers, particular, no. Look what they've done with the DC universe. They've brought in Henry Cavill, fucking garbage Superman. They've brought in Ben Affleck, garbage Superman. Zack Snyder, garbage director.
This is just Devo's just hating on everything I have to say.
Hey,
I'm just trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say, but like we're
you're just saying no.
We're in a particular funnel right here that's in the funnel for failure right now. If they have the Wachowskis. Hey, tell me I'm wrong.
You're the one telling me I'm wrong.
I just don't understand what you're trying to get at, Devo.
I'm just trying to say.
I'm trying to say that like everything that's coming up right now, like we're going like, oh, we can have a Matrix of the Wachowskis. No, you can't, because the studio only wants to make money on a franchise. They'll put whoever they want in charge. They'll put whoever they want.
I agree with that.
To answer, but it's going to be garbage and it's going to fail, just like you do with Superman, just like you do with Batman.
I totally agree with that. That the studio has control.
You look at Superman. They put in some fucking Brit. They put in some fucking guy that made a fucking movie about a bunch of half naked dudes.
But what was your
and
point,
look at that
Clint?
movie. It failed. You look at the fucking the Justice League movie. Everything failed.
Well, what was your point, Clint?
It's okay.
No, go on. No, what's your point?
No, but
What's your point?
I agree with Devo is that ultimately the studio doesn't have the power. That's why they have to hire these fucking high expensive motherfuckers to be in their movie, because there's no other way they'll fucking sell their movie.
Right.
And I totally agree with Devo in the sense where I mean, I don't really like Superman. That's why I don't go watch it. I think it's a bad choice putting Ben Affleck there because Warner Brothers fucking sucks. I always thought Warner Brothers sucks, by the way. Their control of the DC universe is absolutely fucking horrendous. I'm so glad that the Warner Brothers holds no fucking Marvel over Marvel whatsoever.
Yep.
Because otherwise, you guys might like the DC universe. I dislike it very much. Other than the Dark Knight stuff, the Dark Knight was great.
It's not part of the expanded universe.
Fucking right, it's not, because it's fucking good. But I mean, I think D was just trying to get at is that ultimately Warner Brothers, to make money off their franchise, they'll put whoever they want there.
Warner Brothers will make a Matrix movie without the Wachowskis and without Keanu Reeves.
Did you say they prefer it they prefer that they would have the Wachowskis' blessing?
But without the Wachowskis, yeah. So
They prefer that, but if they don't,
No,
like, fuck it.
they said at minimum.
At
they would
minimum,
prefer
there you
the
go. I
blessing.
prefer the blessing.
That
There you
doesn't
go.
mean that they don't want them to make them.
Right.
So it is essentially Warner Brothers is going to make a Matrix movie.
Oh, we don't even know that yet.
And it doesn't matter who they have to star it. Like, we want Michael B, obviously,
That'd be awesome.
and we want Keanu, obviously. Keanu won't do it without the Wachowskis. WB does not want the Wachowskis. Wachowskis don't want to do the Matrix.
I mean, you're jumping to some bold conclusions, Devo.
I'm following the fucking lines right here, Clint.
I know, but
I'm following the lines.
but
I
you're
see alien spaceships out
The-
there.
the problem-
I'm following the
You're
lines.
saying it as though it's fact instead of it's your opinion.
No, it is fact right
The
now.
problem is Devo's lines are hella fucking blurred. That's the problem. So he's like seeing multiple lines cross over each other and shit.
I'm like, I didn't say that at all. I don't know if Warner Brothers wants it or not.
Hey, you know
I'm
what?
just
Pink Venkman's gonna win. I believe in Pink Venkman. And then Rocky Balboa, he's the greatest champ ever lived.
I think we need to end it with that.
at that point, yeah, because when Devo starts fucking quoting Rocky, it's over.
Exactly. The Italian Stallion. I want to see more Matrix movies. Would
I
you want it
do
to be a
too.
show
I do too.
or a movie?
I want to see a show.
That would be great.
And Netflix, right? Or
especially
it doesn't matter the
But it
Especially if Keanu's not in it. I think it's the best thing to do.
I think it has to be a premium show because then it can
Netflix or something.
Netflix, HBO, Showtime,
platform.
something.
I mean, if Keanu's
HBO
not
maybe, so it could be a little more violent.
Yeah, or like I said,
If
something
you
more
can't have
premium.
Keanu, if you're gonna do,
show is better.
If the only way you can have Michael B in it is be in a show, make it a show.
Yeah.
Put it on HBO or something where you have a little bit more violence.
Yeah.
And get away with it, but
I'd like a show.
I would like to show.
I think yeah, and like
It'd be
have him
good.
be like a captain of one of the ships or something.
And it's one of those things where it's like if it's a a success, then possibly a movie. But show. I like the show.
I mean, at this point, with the way Netflix is, I mean, you don't even really need it because
you don't need it at all.
Netflix movies are making just as much money as like movies in the theater a lot of times.
And
like not obviously Black Panther and these huge ones, but like
Yeah.
some bigger ones like Bright and stuff like that could make.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be just as viable financially.
Yeah.
and
I mean,
stuff
like I
that,
said, either
But I don't know how Netflix pertains to Warner Brothers and all this shit like
and Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't know if they give a fuck about Netflix. Maybe they don't. Or maybe they're like all these studios
they're-
are trying to make their own. Like, it's
yeah,
fucking
like
stupid.
fucking Fox and
Yeah, it's
CBS
stupid.
and all that bullshit. That's why I watch Star Trek Discovery legally, and it's great. Yes.
Fucking idiot.
Deviants, thank you for listening. Follow us on all the bullshits on the Facebooks and the Twitters and the Instagrams at SOC Deviants. Hit up our website, socialdeviants.co. You can get all our past episodes, plus Beer Goggle Gaming. If you like what we do, you like listening to fucking the Clitoris talk down.
Drunk
on
ass
the
Devo.
Gooch and
And Devo
I,
make fucking nutting sounds.
and I just go blah, 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 blah. And,
Exactly.
And the Gooch just like burp and fart all the time.
You're fucking bourbon fart all the time, you asshole.
So farted on my pants earlier.
Yeah, shit.
What?
Yeah, you were bending over and I was trying to walk behind you and you farted.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously.
it got on my
As
pants.
one would. I came on your pants, Clint.
You come out of your asshole?
So if you come out of your asshole, then follow us on the Patreon. Patreon.com/socialdeviants.
So much for 10 minutes, right?
We're supported by you. We're supported by you. Rachel! I don't know where the Batman came from. But yes, so we right now we have the welcome commentaries on our Patreon right now.
Rachel.
We did
She
Predators
did.
2010. We did Dawn of the Dead. We're gonna do the Matrix next. I don't know what we're gonna do after that because we're gonna plan a 4-episode Matrix thing, but we only did 3, so we gotta redo the schedule. But
I don't mind doing two movies at once.
do 2 movies in one sitting?
Well, no, 2 movies like in consecutively.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But we also have a Friday the 13th coming up too.
What?
We have a Friday the 13th coming up too.
Ooh.
So we'll talk about that. But yes, so if you want to listen to our movie commentaries, which are actually super fun and hilarious, we have a free one on our Patreon. But typically, Patreon is a Patreon. So
Just saying goodbye takes 10 fucking minutes for us.
All right. See you guys later.
Thanks, Devo.
fuck these fucking assholes.
Brought to you by
Fuck.
alcohol.
These fucking pieces of shit. I hate both of you. Choke on your beer
I love you, Devo.
and fuck you.
We're not the ones that fucking poured the beer down your throat, you fucking asshole.
Nobody pours beer down my throat. You're just stupid. And you're a dummy.
I wish I was this drunk right now, dude. I gotta be.
Wait.
I gotta be okay tomorrow. It's already late. Dude.
He's like, I wish I was. You are as drunk as I am.
Talking about.
I'm not even drunk at all.